good.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another client interview. We've got a return of the legend today, one of our clients who's been on the interview and on the show before. Giovanni, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Good to see you.
Good to have you on, man. And like I was saying to you before, I think, your transformation, you look a lot different now compared to, when we first started on that first initial call. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey for you.
Yeah, I've lost almost 46 pounds total. And recently, we'd started a lean bulk, so I've been gaining a little bit back, but I'm still really lean. I went and got a recent DEXA that showed that I'm in my ideal weight range, despite the fact that I'm back in a calorie surplus. So it feels good to be able to eat more and not be out of control. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. And what was the original Dexters? Because you've got two Dexters. You've got the most original one, then you've got one before. What are the big differences you've seen between the two?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'll tell you, the power of that scan, obviously you've got the number printouts, which is great, but there's a visual component where they actually image your body and they give you like an image of what the fat composition kind of looks like. And the nice thing to see from the second DEXA is that I look less like the Michelin Man than I did the first time, like and what's nice is that this time actually having had the DEXA the second time, I feel like it operates more like a kind of like a precise tool to think about things at the gym now. Like I know that you can't spot target fat loss in different areas, right? But you can measure, the lean mass in your arms and in your legs, and you can figure out if you're imbalanced or anything like that. Fortunately, I'm not. But nevertheless, like the point is you can get some really great information that can give you some guidance about what you need to be up to rather than just moving weight around and hoping that this is, going to benefit in some vague way.
Yeah, 100%. I think with a lot of people, they use kind of like a lot of guesswork with training and they're kind of like, I'm just going to wing it and do this. But when you get something like a DEXA scan, you can see where maybe the deficiencies are. If you've got maybe a bit more muscle on your left side than the right side, it's really kind of like insightful to kind of see, which is awesome. And I know that you've worked with Lloyd and it's been kind of a big transformation working together. So Lloyd, what would you like to add to kind of the results you've seen with Giovanni?
The results have been crazy. The results have been amazing to see. Me and Giovanni every week we have really great chats. Not even just about like the coaching, but we just talk about kind of life and how life kind of almost sets you up to try and fail in regards to being healthy and living healthy. And we were talking about the education that you get when you're younger, the education that kids get. We've had so many conversations about because I feel like I came from a similar place to Giovanni, right? So we've been able to kind of connect on that level and talk about that quite a lot. And I feel like that's really, really helped Giovanni as well, just to be able to see someone else who's done it and kind of go through that. And yeah, I just think having those conversations every week has been really, really good to just keep him on track. And this whole process hasn't really felt too much like a slog for him because he's been getting those results and the difference is nuts. Like as you mentioned, that first call, that first onboarding that we did, I was watching it back the other day, and it's a different man on the screen to the man that you've got on the screen today. So it's crazy to see the difference. And me and Giovanni have gone through many times and looked through our old chats as well and seeing the old videos that he sent to me of him training in his gym at home. And that guy doesn't exist anymore as well. He's currently training in like a commercial gym and he's crushing it. And yeah, that guy in his basement gym is not the same guy that we're on the call with today. So it's great.
Yeah, I think that that's been one of the most valuable things of this is the commitment to the process, right? Like when you join a program, you're committing to a certain period of time. And what you don't really know is that is the value, right? Like the decision that you're going to do something for a period of time, you go through that process and then you learn a bunch of things that come from it. Like the biggest thing that I've taken from all of this has been the education on how I need to be eating and how I can manage that so that I'm not out of control and that I can still live the life I want to live. I mean, I've got friends, right? Like we like to go out, we like to eat, real food, right? Like nobody wants to go and eat a salad, right? Nobody wants to be limited to one certain thing. I mean, I'm going to confess, I had some pizza last night. So like, I still eat all of the regular items that I used to eat. I just know how to manage that now. And I know how to do it in a smart and intentional way that doesn't derail the goals that I have physically. And then obviously having the training program and teaching you how to sort of maximize muscle exhaustion in the gym and having something that like you can track, right? Like this is how I did this week. This is how I did this week. When you can track those little gains plus the food, all of a sudden it becomes like an entire system, right? That sort of is in a feedback loop. And there's a lot of benefit that comes from learning how to live this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. And you make a really good point that the kind of traditional method of giving somebody a strict meal plan and saying, hey, stick to this for the rest of your life, it's chicken, broccoli, and rice and salad. Unfortunately, like that is not sustainable in the long term. And that's the reason why we built in a lot of education into our program that's kind of like, like there's not a food that's good or bad. It's kind of like the amount of portions that you're eating based on your goals and your targets. You can then fit them in and actually enjoy, these social events. Maybe you're going for business travel or you're going to meet a client. It's being able to fit this in while still getting results. And I think that's something that you've done very well is being able to balance that and gain the understanding of like, okay, I can actually do this and I don't have to live this rigid kind of life that you see a lot of
That's right.
others live.
The nice thing though about this program in specific, one is you guys do provide a meal plan, but it's flexible. And two is that, like I said, I think you guys provide the roadmap either explicitly or logically with regards to how you actually need to conduct yourself eating. You need to prioritize your protein, right? And then you need to basically fall your other macros sort of proportionately down from that. And if you can run that even at a conceptual level, right, you'll get to a place where you hear these guys that say, I don't monitor my calories, right? Like I don't do that stuff. You know why? Because they have these keys, right? That these sort of rules of thumb that you can learn and that you can grab hold of so that you can enjoy your life and you can enjoy your body.
100%. No, absolutely. And I know nutrition for you has been a big thing. I know you've mentioned before food was maybe not the best relationship that you used to have with it. So what would you say is, yeah, kind of been your journey with kind of like food, dealing with emotion, stress, things like that?
At 100%. For years I've been overweight. Last time that I was like in good shape was 2012, 2013 timeframe. And I was in really good shape at the time, but I am an attorney and I'm very busy, and there's a lot of stress that comes from that, and a lot of stress eating, or again, sort of lack of education. I would turn to food. And then I would turn to food when I was sad too. Like if something's down in your relationship or whatever, you'd find me somewhere munching. Um, and that has completely changed. I think that through the education about what food does and how you need it as like a fuel source so that you can exercise and go to the gym, what I've learned now is different management strategies for that stress, right? The stress is still there. I'm still a lawyer. I've still got this weight, right? But nevertheless, like this training program and the information that I've received here has given me the tools to have a productive stress management system where it's not just oh, I look good and I have a diet now. It's like, no, I've actually got like some structure in my life where I know about how food operates within this ecosystem, and so I don't have to use it in this kind of like almost like life vest sort of a thing, like a safety jacket, like a blanket sort of a deal, like, oh, I have my food. It's like, you can manage things a lot better when you've got the confidence that comes from being fit, right? There's a lot of mental quietness that comes from being fit, that when you're overweight, you can just be dealing with additional stress because of the fact that you're overweight too.
100%. And one of the things that we learn a lot from our clients is they get a lot of internal conflict, right? Because on the one side, they've got, we work with people that are, successful like yourself in their career. doing very, very well on that side. So they've kind of got like this level of, hey, I'm doing well up here. But then they look in the mirror and they look at their body and it's kind of down here. And it's kind of like there's this discrepancy of internal conflict because at one side, you should be really confident and proud of yourself because you've achieved a lot. But then on the other side, they're kind of feeling like, man, like I don't feel confident. My self-esteem is low. I'm not looking after myself. And like you said, this does this battle in your mind of all this stuff that's going on. So I can understand that how now you've bring your health up to a top level, like it's giving you that clarity and remove that kind of anxiety that you probably had.
That's right. That's right. And like I said, man, like I think I expressed this to Lloyd a few times. Lloyd, spent a period being overweight, so he knows this. You have so much tied up in your head when you're overweight about the fact that you're overweight. Like, hey, did this interaction not go well because I'm fat? Did she not look at me because I'm fat? Did they avoid eye contact with me because they just think I'm gross or something like you have this constant question in your head that can be very, very debilitating socially. And you can basically just eliminate that, right? Like you can just take 6 months, take a year, give yourself the time. And I highly recommend. I did the program for a year. I will highly recommend doing the program for a year because you have the opportunity to mess up. You have the opportunity to go through periods of plateaus and to ask yourself, is this actually working? And then to see the process actually come through for you. So I'm a big believer in the process, and I'm a big believer in giving yourself the time to let the process work. So if you're thinking about joining the program, give yourself the honest chance of succeeding by committing to at least 6 months, if not a year. So
No, I love that. And I think the big reason for your success is you said on day one, I'm fully committed to this process for a year. And you kind of had this conviction of like, I'm going to do this for a year. And you come out at the end of it and you've got a fantastic transformation. And I think a lot of people, they don't achieve what they want because they're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? They're kind of like, I'll give this a go or try. Maybe this week I won't. I'm not sure. And it's kind of like telling the universe that they're not going to fully commit. But because you did everything you could within the program, it's made a big difference. And I think Lloyd, with the clients that we've seen the best results with, they seem to all be 6 months plus, right? From the results we've got.
Yeah, 100%. Anyone who is like 6 months plus or commits that long period of time really does get the results. Because also the issue you have with, going shorter term is you get those instant results, right? Like when you are overweight, you are going to drop potentially 10 pounds in your first month. That's pretty much a given because you're making a lot of changes. So you start to build these habits. You're like, okay, it's going really, really well. And then you feel like, I don't need a trainer anymore. These results are going great. And then what happens is you haven't hit the wall yet. So you don't know what to do when you hit that wall. Whereas me and Giovanni, we've hit that wall a lot of times and we've come through the other side. Whereas, if you feel like you do a 3 months and you're getting results, you might be like, I don't need this anymore because I'm getting the results. You go away and then 2 months later you're stuck. Whereas with Giovanni, we've hit plateaus and we've pushed through those plateaus every single time. When it was around Christmas time, he joined in October, and when we hit that Christmas time, obviously results slowed down a little bit, but it didn't matter because I said to him, it's Christmas, right? You don't need to worry about getting the results now because we've still got another 10 months to
right.
push with this. And then we hit another plateau probably a few months back. And that was the big one, right? Because as soon as we break through that plateau, that was the one where the big change happened. And after that plateau, Giovanni was sending me pictures of his abs in the morning and stuff like that, right? Like that was the big make or break one. And if he gave up then, that would never have happened. But we
Right.
pushed through that single plateau and that was huge. So yeah, it's been incredible. And I was just looking at the old Dexa as well. The old Dexa had you at a obesity one, right, Giovanni? And the current Dexa you just did, like you look at your visceral fat and it's in the super healthy range. So you've gone from obesity, which is obviously terrible for your health overall,
Yeah.
and now you've got visceral fat, which is obviously the main fat, which is around your organs and stuff, is in the super healthy range. So that change alone in a year is wild.
I want to say, just for anyone wondering, this is the best money that I've ever spent. Um, and I'm saying that completely genuinely because of everything up here now, right? Like yes, I feel great. I look good in the mirror. My friends, one of my best friends yesterday, last night, he said, "Dude, every single time that me and the wife see you, we talk about how good you're looking these days." And I love to hear that from my friends who've seen me fat before, right? Like from the people that know where I've been, for them to like notice and for them to give me those affirmations, right? Like that has made all of this worthwhile, but it's mine, right? Like it's not this passing thing. It's actually mine. I bought it, right? Like I bought the quietness. I bought the confidence, right? Like I spent the money, I spent the time. So I want anyone thinking about that, like, well, yeah, it's money. It's like, well, yeah, but what you get from that is one of the most valuable things that you can possibly have, which is confidence in your own skin, right? Like that's where you live. It's where you spend 24 hours a day. Like that should be a place where you feel good to be. So, and I do, and I credit it to what I've learned here and what I've gone through as a result of all this. So,
No, that's a great point, and I really appreciate the kind words there. Your commitment's been great, and I know that Lloyd. I want to shout Lloyd out as well because Lloyd's been a superstar working with you as well. So yeah, Lloyd, you've smashed it with Giovanni, as well as Giovanni smashing it in the gym and doing all the things. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's been great. I love working with Giovanni.
yeah, and I've loved working with Lloyd. Lloyd's a great trainer. I mean, he's younger than I am, but he's super informative, and I've learned a ton. I mean, he's the one that's led me through this. So,
no, that's awesome, man. No, that's great. Will there be any kind of future goals on the horizon? I know that you've kind of got abs now. You're looking pretty good. The Dex is coming well. So yeah, what's the future look like for the health? Are you doing a bulk? Are you going to maintain? What are you thinking?
I mean, truthfully, I've got some plans to go see some friends, and so I want to maintain, maybe do a mini cut. But honestly, the long-term goal, man, like if we were to meet up in a year, I'd like to see these shoulders a little bit bigger, these arms a little bit
Nice.
bigger, right? Like, I mean, I've got the tools now, right, to know what I need to do to actually get to that place. And um yeah, and we're friends, right? So maybe we'll be back in touch in the future. So
Yeah, definitely, man. No, absolutely. It's been a pleasure working with you, and thank you for coming on today. Is there any final bits you wanted to add? Anything else that would be useful to maybe people watching?
just to say that if you're thinking about it and you've been thinking about it, now's the time. Um, don't put it off, right? Like the new year's coming, oh, I'll do it in the new year. That's what I told myself for 10 years. And last year at this time, it was about a year ago, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to start now. And here I am now. I'm not waiting for those things anymore. So now's the time. Today's the day.
You heard the man, guys. You know what to do. So appreciate those words, and thank you for coming on today, guys. If you're watching, any questions, just let me know. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. But thanks for coming on, both Lloyd and Giovanni. And we'll speak soon.
Thanks, Oliver. See you soon.
See ya.